Good. Bad. Well, this is annoying. I done all that work with the cylinder head, and it was all looking good. The oil pressure was fine until it got up over 100 degrees coolant temperature, which I don't know what the oil would be then. Might be a little bit higher after a good while running. And the oil light flicked back on when it was back down at idle, so no better off with that cylinder head, unfortunately. Which is really annoying, because now I just feel like scrapping this car. However, I'm lucky I didn't film yesterday when that happened, because I was in a right paddy. I did get some video footage of the light just to, just to record it really happening. But I was mega unhappy about it, and yeah, I didn't film anything because I was just sulking. But overnight, I've had a bit of time to think, and after having a chat with a few people on cliosport.net, quite handy people over there, really know their stuff, particularly when it comes to the F4R, which is the newer version of the F7R that I've got. And they mentioned the oil squirt jets often stick on the F4. So I thought I'd check the oil squirt jets on my engine, being as it's the only thing on this engine now that hasn't been changed. It's simply the only thing left that it could be. And the reason I haven't changed them before is, one, they're no longer available from Renault, so I couldn't get hold of new ones. And two, I didn't even think they were valves. I thought they were just small jets that increased with the pressure. So, you know, I thought they were always open, and it was just part of the design of the engine. So I came out here last night and pulled open the spare engine that I've stripped down, and took a oil squirt jet off that and checked it and blew into the end of it, and it was closed. So that proves that they are valves. So guess what I've just been doing for the last 2 hours? Let me show you. Here is engine, propped up with a bit of wood because I need it up higher, because underneath we've got the sump off, and I've actually taken all 4 of the under piston squirt jets out. That's the spare one from the spare block. And what I found is basically my problem. So, and don't do this, it's minging. Here is the oil squirt jet off the engine that had good oil pressure. Yuck. And here is a oil squirt jet off the problematic engine. So, there's my problem. Ew. And 3 out of 4 of those jets on the problematic engine were like that. So, yeah, it's safe to say I think I found my massive oil leak causing my low oil pressure. So what I'm going to do, I think, is put the 4 good ones, or supposedly good ones. I'm going to find 4 good ones, basically, and put them in this one, seal it all back up, and see how it goes. Fingers crossed, this is the last time I strip this engine apart. Taking a closer look at these jets, or at least the banjo. So there's the jets. These are the banjo that goes through it. And inside, it's really difficult to see. Can you see that there's a piece of metal? I'll put something on the screen so you can see it. There's a piece of metal in there, holding it open, I think. So that would be the issue. Right, that change of oil squirter jets seems to have done the trick, at least enough to keep the oil pressure from dropping low enough to put the light on, which is the only metric I can really go by at the moment. But what I'm going to do now is start it up, get it warm, as warm as I can. I think about 103, 105 degrees coolant temperature, because that's when it started getting upset with me last time. So if we go up to about 105, get the fan to come on so it cools it back down. It's pretty good at regulating the temperature, so it'll go up to 105 and then drop all the way back to down to about 85, or even lower. Depends what I set the fan to go off at. But it's quite good at regulating the temperature, so the coolant system seems to be working properly, and that is cooling the oil down enough to keep it viscous enough, I guess. So yeah, I'm going to start it up. I've got the F7R manual from Renault in the garage, up in the corner somewhere. But I think in there it says something like 2,500 RPM. You should get 2 bar of oil pressure. I've got the internal gauge hooked up. I've got the mechanical gauge hooked up to the front. So we'll set it up at 2,500 or 2,000, whatever the book says. Check what the oil pressure is. If it's good as far as the book goes, it's good as far as I'm concerned. So we'll just start it up now and see how it goes. Fingers crossed. This is the last time I'm dealing with this engine. If this fails now, it's going in the bin. Right, here they are. I got them from, like, they live in the corner right over there. But here's the official Megane documents from Renault. I don't have an F8Q turbo diesel engine. I do not have driver's seat memory. I do have special notes for Megane fitted with the F7R engine. So this is the one I'm interested in, and here's my bookmark. Here's what it says about oil pressure testing. So oil pressure must be checked when the engine is warm, approximately 80 degrees. Well, my oil temperature is like about 95, so it's above this. So if the pressure is lower, then we're still okay-ish. Still not ideal though. And it says at idle speed we should have 1.2 bar. And I think I'm getting just over 1 bar. So it's close, kind of works out actually if we're at 80 degrees and I'm at 95. So if we're at 80 degrees it should be 1.2 and I'm at 95 and I've got a little bit less. That would make sense. And then at 3,000 RPM it should be 3.5 bar in pressure. And I think I'm only at 3. So let's find out. Let's start it up, get it warm, see what we're looking at. The Megane is nice and easy to hotwire. Don't think I can do it with one hand though. There's ignition. And then I've got to put these 2 wires together. There they are. Ready? Ready? Oh. She didn't like that. There she goes. Never happy when it's cold, but that's what a map does. Okay, I don't know why I left this video off. I'd done all this work. I had to stop doing all this work because I had to fix the Mercedes, which is in for remedial repairs. So I don't know what I've actually got with this video. All that, the start of this episode was pretty much filmed probably about 6 to 8 weeks ago by now. So we're 6 to 8 weeks in the future. And I've got some stuff to do. So I haven't been able to do the oh god, I nearly said focus then. I've been able to do the Megane in the garage, so it's all had to be done outside because that thing is in the way. I've got the bumper here for the Megane that needs sorting. I'm not going to be able to show you, but basically I've done a really poor job at fixing the diffuser to the bumper, so we're going to copy what I did on the Focus with this bumper at some point. But in the meantime, spider's webs, get away. Notice the crack on the filler and fiberglass that I used. Not very good, so we'll redo that at some point. Anyway, let's walk to the front where the Megane lives. So, past the Purple Peril, the Daily, and here she is. She lives. Let's pop the bonnet. So it's all looking pretty good under here. There's one small leak from the radiator hose. I think it's this one down here that's leaking, so we need to tighten that up. I'm not sure if the radiator is actually gone as well, but well, we'll see. I don't think it is, but it does leave a little puddle on the floor after a certain amount of time, right about there. I remade this pipe, so that's the boost pipe coming out of the turbo. Down there goes into the front of the intercooler, and yeah, so I remade that. I made a bracket for the power steering reservoir, but the heat of the engine bay has warped my 3D printed piece, so we're gonna have to make it out of something else. Yeah, obviously PLA isn't good enough because it just warps, so we're gonna have to make it out of ABS, I think. But this actually fits quite nice when it clips in. Anyway, close that in the car. Oh. So what I tend to do is get the fuel ratio gauge out, plug it in. I've literally got a few plugs here somewhere. Where are we? This black one goes in. This black. It's really hard doing it one-handed. That black one goes in there, and the red one around there somewhere. Too many red ones. There it is. This red one goes on the end one. Just so that we've got a reading. So obviously, because the car isn't on at the moment, it's not reading anything. I need to tidy all this up, but we'll get to that at some point. I also need to sort out a starter for it because currently I'm hot wiring it. So we'll sort out a starter for it before it goes for a map. But I think for now we can start it up and just take it up and down the road to see how it behaves. Righto, time to hot wire the thing. Fuel pipe comes on. It should start fairly simply. Oh, not very happy with that. Give it a bit of gas. There it goes. So it should. Handbrake light off, all good. Clutch works. You can keep an eye on that for me because I can't see it. Oh, don't die. Need to sort the idle out. But it should. Neighbours like it. Oh, the brakes work. So, now that it's out and about, we can still see it. It's missing a bumper still, but it continues to run. I've got some paint correction I need to do there, and yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's set you back up. Right, hopefully you'll stay there. It's actually quite smooth. Okay, well, some of the video dropped out there. Some of the video dropped out because the because my mount fell off, but we'll arrange that properly next time. All good news, the rev counter seems to work, fuel gauge works. Didn't look at the speedo, I'm gonna have to check the footage to see if it worked. But it all seems to be running okay apart from the map, so it needs a map. That's probably next on the list after I've cleaned up everything in here. So I've got a couple of jobs left to do really. I've got to tidy up in here. I've got to get myself a start button because I can't, hold on, let me, let's turn it off. There you go. So it's, yeah, I need to sort out an ignition for it and tidy up in here, get it, put the rear bumper on so it's MOT worthy, and then I think I'm going to trailer it to the mapping place. I don't know who's going to map it yet. Hopefully I can find somebody, and yeah, get it mapped on the dyno, get it properly so that it doesn't kill itself, and then we'll take it for MOT, and then I'll be able to drive it around and get some mileage under its belt, because currently it's only done 100 miles with this engine and this gearbox. Speaking of the gearbox, I'm sure lots of you have viewed it. It sounds horrendous. Something's obviously gone wrong in it, so I might buy a new one anyway and do a quick gearbox change on this, because with the clutch in, the noise disappears and the engine sounds sweet as. So I'm convinced it's not the engine. So don't worry, it's not rod knock. Rodney is not a knocking. It's definitely the gearbox. So something's gone wrong with the gearbox. The car I got that box out of was in an accident, so it's quite possible that that it's just knackered anyway. But I think they're fairly cheap to get hold of now, so I'll probably either buy a new box or pull that one out, get it refurbed, put it back in. That might be a better option, not sure. And yeah, take it for some mapping and finally get to use them again. It's been a long time coming. A long time coming. I'm like 32 now. I bought this when I was 18. Anyway, yeah, so I think I'll call this episode. I have no idea what the structure of this episode is going to be. Like I said earlier, it's been filmed over like 8 weeks because I've had that poxy Mercedes to try and fix. And it looks like the Famalam might have the vid now. So yeah, videos are going to be all over the place, I think, until they are better and I get the focus back and I get this on a dyno and yeah, all the other stuff that I've got to do, because, you know, no rest for the wicked. But anyway, yeah, I'll call it here. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys hanging around watching me play around with my Admittedly, not very fancy cars, but they're mine and I like them. I appreciate I haven't put much up on YouTube recently. Summer holidays, and like I said, lack of car content in general. But I'm always posting stuff on the social media platforms anyway, so go and follow the channel on Facebook and Instagram. There's lots of pictures up on there and videos and bits and bobs that I do in between. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can see the live streams of me fixing the Mercedes if you're interested in that. I've got a couple of mods that I want to do on the Mercedes as well, so we can do some videos on that once it's fixed. And then the final plug for Patreon and YouTube channel memberships. So if you're interested in supporting the channel a little bit more, you can hop over to Patreon and become a patron of the channel, where you get lots of behind the scenes. All the patrons actually know the colour of the Flexus by now, and have had their opinion on it. Likewise, if you want to become the first channel member, that's available for you too. Same perks as Patreon. Gives you guys a bit of diversity as to which platform you want to support on. Anyway, enough of that. I think this video's probably gone on long enough. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time. I would say ciao, but I've got nowhere to go. I'm just going to sit in here for a bit.